G'day, in this video I want to talk about user mode on the BMW S1000RR. I've got in front of me a 2015-2016 model and a chip. There's a little chip that comes in your kit when you buy the motorcycle that you can plug in, and when you put that chip in, it basically gives you the additional functions of slick mode and user mode. Well, user mode itself is one of the often misunderstood components of the motorcycle, and a lot of people use it, but they don't use it necessarily in the correct way. So I want to focus on how you set it up and how you use it most effectively for the motorcycle. Now, if you look down below, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you'll see that there's a download there which basically gives you the breakdown of every single setting associated with each of the riding modes and each of the different functions, including automatic stability control, throttle function, dynamic traction control, anti-lock braking system, and dynamic damping control. So you can download that, and I'm going to reference that as we go through the particular video here. So I'll chuck it over there. Now, the way, first of all, in order to utilize or access the user mode settings, you've got to be familiar with the switching on your bike. The switch that we use is the trip lap set switch, which is the one on the bottom left-hand side on the left-hand handlebar. And I'm pretty much going to use the bottom part of it, which is the set button. And all you've got to remember here is if it's a short press, then you're going to scroll. If you hold it for a long press, it's going to select something. So it's either going to make something flash or stop something flashing as you select the different function. So let's just have a look at the dashboard here. To find the user mode setting, I press the set button. Right, race info, setup menu. I'm going to select enter for setup menu. And that's going to take me into a couple of different functions here. So I'm going to scroll through that. Set up equipment, set up racetrack, set up user mode is the one I'm looking for. So I press and hold for the long press the set part of the button, and that gets me into the setting. Now, when I run through user mode, you can see there's a few different choices. So with ABS, right, we've got dynamic traction control, dynamic damping control, the engine throttle itself, and then there's reset and exit buttons. So basically what I'm going to do is choose what I believe to be the most efficient settings for what I would like on the road. So for ABS, I'm basically going to hold the set button for a long press, and I'm going to select not race but slick. So if you look at the table in here, so a long press to select slick. So the ABS and slick, basically what that means is the front wheel ABS is on, but there's no rear wheel ABS. So it's not going to detect rear wheel lifting. So the back end can slide, if you apply rear brake, and there'll be no ABS on the back end. If you get into race mode or sport mode, you'll see that it's a slightly different function. Now, I scroll through again, I go to DTC, dynamic traction control. I want to choose slick. But if I hold the set button, I can scroll through and you can see I can select rain, sport, race, and slick. Right, I choose the slick mode because basically what that's going to do is give me, the most options around throttle, the way I ride the bike with traction control. So I scroll through again, dynamic damping control. What I want to choose here is race mode. Okay, so I hold down the set button till it flashes, then I scroll through. I can choose sport, race, or slick. I'm going to hold for a long press when I get race, and now I've got dynamic damping control in race mode. So basically what that's going to do is give me a bit of a sporty ride, but it's not going to be set up for a racetrack. So it's more likely to track better as we're riding on rough roads. And the engine side of it itself, right, there's a couple of choices here. So first of all, if I hold set for the long press, you'll see that I can choose rain mode, race mode, or slick mode. Well, basically the difference is you don't want rain mode because rain mode is going to be, there's going to be a different type of torque curve. So it's going to have a linear response to the throttle, and it drops around about 50 horsepower, I believe. So if I scroll through to race, the difference between race and slick is race will have engine braking. It'll have the same torque curve, but a bit of engine braking, whereas slick won't have so much engine braking because it's going to have an overrun activated, meaning it's going to put fuel in as you back off the throttle to give it less engine braking and better, smoother response when you crack on the throttle. So I'm going to choose race to give me a little bit of engine braking, and that's pretty much it for me. They're my preferred settings. So to get out of that, I simply find the exit, hold down for a long press, right? And I'm outside of the user menu, and then I simply go to the exit for the setup menu, and I am back out of that menu. I'm back into the standard dashboard. So there you have it. Don't forget, you can download that little guide there and you can set up your own particular choices. I just want you to remember one thing. Just because you choose slick for everything doesn't mean you're going to ride faster. The intent of user mode is that you can pick a combination that is best suited to your scenario. So if you're street riding and range riding, there's a bit of roughness, then you'll have a different DDC setting than you would on the racetrack. So you just need to be smart about how you use it. Hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next video.